on Nova Legends podcast. I had the 2024 South Lake Seahawks, state champions, South Lake Seahawks, back from a weekend of partying. These guys made us all proud with a huge win over Patriot, 65-39. They are the first team in South Lake's history, other than their women's team. Jordan Scott may know somebody on that team that won in '86, but the first boys team in school history to win the state championship, and that's including so many great Division I players, including Grant Hill, Michael Jackson, probably more Division I players than any team in Northern Virginia, possibly Potomac, but I don't think so. Anyway, guys, congratulations. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Well, let me introduce you guys, and I'm going to go around in order just so I don't leave anybody out. So don't mean to introduce you in any particular order. First, of course, there's Jordan Scott. Jordan had another incredible season, his junior season. His, I believe, his third trip to states, like I believe Aiden as well. But this is a state title. It's very sweet for him. Obviously, lots of Division I offers. We're glad that he stayed at South Lakes, played with the public school kids. Jordan, I met you and Aiden before, but really glad to see you again.
Nice to see you again too.
Yeah. Well, then back as the returning champion, Mike Desmond, who's on my podcast as much as anybody, maybe except for Coach Sherman. So Coach just won a state championship really quickly in his career. He owes it to you guys. So don't let him forget that, guys. Mike played at Chantilly, class 97, Mike?
Yeah.
97. Played with, I think, Derek Franklin, Miles's dad. Yeah. Mike's done a great job with his team, pulled all the right levers, and was able to turn around a pretty convincing loss earlier this year. Good to see you again, Mike.
Good to be seen.
Yeah. Then I got Tyler Andre. Tyler, I believe you are also a really good football player too this year. I want to see you guys play. Tyler did a great job this year as a really consistent shooter. I thought you really added a lot to the team. Got every loose ball that was in front of you. Played great defense like everybody else. I really think you made a big difference. Maybe doesn't show up on all the score sheets, but just a really solid all-around player. Tyler, good to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sure. Then David Rochester. David is a Brown commit. I believe, David, you transferred from O'Connell. Is that correct, Dave?
I did, yes.
David and his little brother. David got hurt this year. Unfortunately, you hate to see that, but fought his way back. And I think I was sitting next to your grandmother at the game. I'm not sure. I think it was, and she wasn't sure you were going to play in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But you did more than play. I thought your defense against Hayfield and against Patriot were key to the success of the team. Everyone played great defense, but I thought you really showed that you really made a difference. Really happy for you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thank you very much.
Oh, sure. And then I got James Szchunke. James is a guy I thought last year would provide a spark off the bench. Scored a huge touchdown, I believe, this year against, was it Westfield, James? Just an amazing play out of nowhere. I thought you guys were in trouble that night after you led the whole game. You came out of nowhere, caught that pass, came back, took you guys, all football players, a while to get your basketball legs. But again, I thought you made a huge impact when called upon. It's always tough when you have a team with this much talent, but you need players to come off the bench and provide a spark like you did. Congratulations, James. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Sure. You're welcome. And then Aiden Billings. I met Aiden along with Jordan in the sports management class of Coach Cincinnati last year. Aiden, his sophomore year, one of my favorite players, great hands, great passer, surprising basketball player. Hung in there this year. I know you're a football D1 commit, so basketball is probably tough for you to focus 100% like you probably at some point would like to. But again, I thought you made a huge difference in the state final. Just a tremendous career at South Lakes. Congratulations. Good to see you again, Aiden.
Thank you. Nice to see you too.
Yeah, of course. I'm meeting Saul for the first time, Saul Vita. Saul always provides a spark. You and Brian together. Last year, I thought you guys surprised people with how much spark and energy you guys provided from the guard position. I didn't think people knew much about you last year. Quite a scorer. You made some big shots in the state championship game. Some pretty surprising finishes. I don't know how you get those shots over the big guys. Your arms must be longer than I would think, but I just think you do a great job off the bench. Underclassmen, so we'll get to see more of you next year. Just a tremendous guard. Saul, nice to meet you. Thanks for doing this.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Yeah. And then Brian, Brian, I'm really happy for you. I know that a lot of people know how talented an athlete you are. Had just a great football career. I thought your game against Westfield and against Yorktown, I thought you just played unbelievably in football. And I understand you hadn't been playing that long, or maybe you hadn't focused on it. But then in basketball, I thought you had, as I said before, a big difference maker last year was Saul in the backcourt out of nowhere. And then this year, I thought you were, definitely one of the best point guards in the area, if not the best. And I think in the state championship game, when everyone's watching, you played like you had something to prove. And it's not easy to do that when you have something to prove, because sometimes you can put too much pressure on yourself. But you came through. I thought the first half, you took over the game and really set the tone. Your whole team played great. But Brian, I was really happy for you. Nice to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, I thought I would ask you guys, with South Lakes' history of having all this talent, never winning a state championship, what has it meant to you in these 2 days since you've won it, if you had a chance to digest it? Did it surprise you, the feeling that you have? And what was it feeling? Was it just relief that you finally did it? Or was it just joy? So what has been your reaction to being state champ? This is something, I played 2 years of varsity ball at Robinson. My team was out in the first game in districts both years. Not many people get a chance to win state championships. After you do it, it may seem like it was easy, but I guess you guys have a sense since you've lost in the state playoffs. But anyway, what has been the reaction and how have you felt about it? Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Sure.
I'll go ahead.
Yeah. Brian?
It's we feel like really. Oh, Aiden, were you going?
No, you can go. Go ahead.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
It does feel like a relief because we were expecting to do it last year, and getting knocked off by Hayfield was pretty heartbreaking. And then we got the chance to fix it this year at the same gym, same exact game and everything. So it's a big relief off our shoulders that we were able to do it before we left. And I know Jordan and Saul have another year, but like some of us were leaving and we just wanted to make our mark before we left.
So you felt last year that you were supposed to beat Hayfield?
Absolutely. Should be.
Yeah. Shots fired, guys. Who's that? Aiden, did you want to go? Or?
Oh yeah. It felt good. Brian kind of said it all. It was just, I don't know. We were all kind of at a loss for words, like when it happened right away. But now, me and Des been texting. I don't know who he's been texting, but we've been texting personally, kind of like every day since this happened, just saying like we finally did it, and it's just been great. It's an amazing feeling knowing that we were the first people to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of great players came before you.
Yeah.
So, anyone else want to jump in here?
I was gonna say, like, at the start of the season, we had a lot of pressure on our shoulders. Like on paper, Des talks about it. Like on paper, we're supposed to be the winners. Like we're supposed to do all these great things, and then we have some minor setbacks at the start of the season, and we really just refocused, introduced some of our goals, and we just destroyed everyone.
Yeah. Jordan, did you say?
Yeah,
something?
I don't know if I can speak for everybody, but I don't know if it's like fully sank in yet that we just won a state championship. But I know next week we have our banquet where we're going to see all each other for like basically like the last time for like a basketball occasion. I know we're leaving like a lot of seniors, and we all have like 6 returners coming back from this year.
Mm.
So I don't really think it's like sinking yet, or at least for me, that we just won a state championship.
Yeah.
Jordan just lied.
Oh,
We actually will have at some point another basketball gathering because you gentlemen need to get your rings.
oh yeah, rings.
Ah,
Okay,
Yeah,
so second to last one then.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Jordan said. Like, it hasn't fully sunk in yet because, like, I've played with most of these people since like 7th grade, you know, and like we've just been used to winning, like travel championship, everything. So it hasn't like fully sunk in that like state final yet.
Yeah. It's one thing winning the travel, but I mean, you're winning every part of the state sends their best players. And, you know, when you win a state championship, that's just, I mean, in high school, you can't do any more. It's as far as you can go. Anyone else want to jump in? Take it all. Well, yeah, Brian, oh, okay. One thing that, you know, Brian mentioned last year's season, did it make this season less fun than last year? Like last year, you lost a lot of experienced players from the year before, and no one really expected you guys to preseason to be that good. I mean, Jordan hadn't played that much his freshman year. You know, by the end of the year, you guys are a really good team. Was that year more fun because it's more expected than this year? Because now this year, all you could do was really lose because everyone was putting all these expectations on you.
I mean, as a coach, you know, last year, I was just very impressed how the young group came together a lot sooner. I thought we were always a year away going into the season, and as we struggle through December at times. But you know, last year for me was supposed to be fun, but it wasn't because these kids really stepped up and showed that they were championship material a lot sooner than maybe a lot of people thought. And then, you know, you go into this year, all those kids coming back, a player of the caliber of David comes in with some other guys. It was, you know, this hasn't been fun. And I think anyone on this call, these kids would tell you maybe playing for me or playing at South Lakes isn't fun, but you know, the means are justified in the end. And the end Saturday for this group of kids and the community is nuts. And you know, I appreciate the work that it was taken by these players to accomplish the greatness that was.
Yeah, no question. Anyone else want to jump in about this year? Jordan, did you have more fun last year or this year?
I would say I had fun both years. Last year's feeling was definitely different. Being like the underdogs kind of in most of the games that we played, especially come playoff time. But this year we had a bigger target on our back, you know, being ranked #1 early on and supposed to be winning the whole thing this year was definitely a different feeling than last year.
How about you, David, coming from private school? You know, obviously getting hurt put a wrench in your plans, but what was the experience like? Did you have fun playing with the public school guys? Compare the two experiences.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's been an awesome experience. You know, this school's used to winning, and just coming in here and winning a state title, it means a lot. You know, it was really fun throughout the year.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, the football players, on Tyler, Brian, and James, you know, you guys had this football season where no one expected anything of you, and all of a sudden you're undefeated. And in basketball, again, you're expected to win everything. So how would you compare the feeling of playing the seasons when you're an underdog like you were in football and did so well to basketball when you're the overwhelming favorites and you did come through?
I think that I know we were the team that's supposed to win, but there was a lot of people who were out there and they didn't want us to win. Like anything we'd see on Twitter or Instagram, it would be like South Lakes has a tough matchup. Will they get it done? And it was just a bunch of nonsense that we didn't really pay attention to it. We like the trash talk and all the people trying to put us down. It just made us play even better. So hearing all the negativity from other people, it really fueled this season.
Yeah. Saul, did you want to jump in here or?
I would like to go back to the game.
Yeah.
I just because I remember when we first played Patriot in the summer, we had a few players on the team who didn't get that much time in the championship game, like early in the championship game. But I think we were short on players this summer when we first met them in the first matchup. And I just want to mention Jordan Corey, who didn't get to play that many minutes. He had about 10 rebounds this summer when we beat them.
Wow.
And Toshi Elson had 10 points and some rebounds as well. So I just wanted to mention them. They played really well this summer, and we were short on players.
Yeah, I thought Toshi gave you some, good minutes, this year as well. Did you guys feel as a different measure of revenge beating Hayfield than it is beating Patriot? Hayfield I think you beat you the last 2 years, I believe. And then Patriot just beat you in the regular season this year. Was it a different feeling of revenge?
Definitely. I would say Hayfield was, at least for me, my most anticipated game. It really just came down to, like ending our season. Because junior year, I really thought we were gonna do it. And it just didn't work out the way we want. So, going into the senior season, I really had a lot of like motivation to like keep going, keep powering through just to get to Hayfield. Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. How about anyone else want to jump in here about the feelings of revenge, the two different teams?
I think that the Hayfield game was definitely a game that we all wanted to win. More, not necessarily more because of course we want to win the state championship, but looking forward to it, it was the Hayfield game that we all were so pumped and hyped up for. We had a big student section, so the environment felt kind of like a state championship game, and it was really good to win that game. The Patriot game was more so a game that we were preparing for and that we wanted to get back, and we came out and cruised through the first half, and we had to they had a couple of guys that were in foul trouble early, and then that we were able to just extend the lead after that. So that game, it felt like, I don't know if it was because it was a state championship game, it felt a little different. It didn't feel like a real game. But it was a little weird feeling to it.
Kind of
Yeah.
surreal. Yeah.
I mean, I would say the Hayfield game is probably like, I think it definitely felt different because we had lost to them years before. Then also it was like Patriot was kind of like, we didn't really play them a lot the years before. So then we lost to them. We were kind of like, all right. And then we played them again. And it was kind of just like, okay, we just got to play them again. But Hayfield was like, they ended our season twice. So we have to beat them.
I mean, I think the stars kind of aligned throughout, not just the district and region and the state playoffs, like the teams that we played. It was kind of meant to be in some regards, right? I think on our first district game for the playoffs, it was Westfield. And everyone is talking about Westfield's young talent, and they are. They're very young, they're very talented, but it wasn't their time. And then, of course, it was going to be Madison. It has to be Madison. And it had to be Madison for the way that they played us so tough in the regular season. Then you fast forward a week, and it's Yorktown. And, with the amount of football guys, we were happy it was Yorktown. And some get back, some get right. Me as a basketball coach, in my first playoff experience in a championship game against Yorktown, Joe Reed upset us. So there was a lot of irony in the Yorktown game. Then Chantilly in the semis. I am no longer their favorite son. I'm pretty sure that the school doesn't claim me anymore, but it's like, okay, good, it's them. And then, of course, it's Madison again. And I thought the guys defensively really took in all the adjustments. And that was a statement kind of win to put it that way. You go into the state playoffs, and there's not a better competitive matchup than what we got from Potomac, right? Very similar teams, very physical teams, very aggressive teams. and we got tested and we got pushed to the limit. And then of course, Hayfield wouldn't want it any other way. And then you get to the state championship against a team that I thought proved a pretty big point in the statement when we had played them in December, and rightfully so. People were just talking about us, and people had forgotten Patriots' success and all the kids they were returning. So Coach Rivers' group, they put it to us in December, but it would have been, again, maybe an asterisk if we didn't get to play them and find out, was December a fluke? Was December, the real best team in Class 6 or whatever? And to get even with them in a great game and environment, yeah, it had to be Patriot. If it wasn't Patriot, if it wasn't Hayfield, then there'd be people out there saying that they won, but they didn't really beat such and such. So it aligned. The stars aligned.
Yeah. Well, I want to get back to the first Patriot game, but I did want to ask. Someone mentioned that people talk trash on social media. What's been the reaction on social media? Is, Coach Desmond and I see the adult reaction, so we don't probably see what the kids talk about. But has there been trash talk between like Woodside and John Marshall, the other champions, and you guys? Does that exist? Because one of the frustrations I have as a fan is that they don't have all these. Some of the teams aren't in the same classifications anymore than everyone else. You went out and you look around and say, well, I wish we can beat up on them too. But has there been any trash talking between the different champions?
I don't think John Marshall said anything. We beat them by 20 something. So
What's that?
I mean, during the summer we beat them, but
Is that right? Okay.
I mean, they're really worried about us because they're not the same class as us. But
I mean, they're a national powerhouse, right?
yeah.
All these, you mentioned other teams, and something was mentioned to me that some team said something on social media, and I would say to all those other teams that are looking to get on the schedule or to either validate their name by playing us or by beating us or whatever, let these kids enjoy this. Okay, it's the first time in school history.
Yeah.
And if you want a game, you don't have to do social media. I'm not on social media. I have a Fairfax County email. Cool.
Yeah. You still have a rotary phone too, huh, Mike?
Don't get them started.
Anyone else want to talk about the trash talk?
I mean, I haven't really seen anything from like other like divisions or classes.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah. So let's go to the Patriot game. So I went down there, watched you guys play, and I was pretty confident you guys are going to beat them soundly. And I was surprised that they won that game the way they did. I thought there was some strange officiating in the game, but they had a lot of open looks. And that's one thing that it struck me is that they seemed like they had a lot of open looks that day. And it's weird because Saturday they had no open looks. Every shot they shot were turnarounds. I felt like when they scored, they were borderline travels. I really thought they couldn't get anything out of you guys on Saturday, but I felt like when you guys played in December, they had so many, good looks at the basket. So anyway, that was the thing that struck me. What about you guys? What are your memories of that Patriot game, or did you just try to put it out of your mind?
I think that it's like you're at your place shooting the ball, so of course it's gonna be well. Like I've never seen Tyler miss a 3-pointer at South Lakes, so I understand them shooting the ball at a high clip when we played them. And that was like everybody says, was it a fluke? I think it's a fluke. You're not going to shoot the ball 80-something% every game, but we seen when we played them in the state championship, they made I think 2 3-pointers. That's it. So you see, like, it really comes out when the moment gets bigger.
Yeah. I mean, that was just our main focus, was just not letting them shoot like they did the first time. And matchups and stuff like that was also something we focused on because we didn't have the right matchups the first game. And then the second game, we were able to adjust, and I was able to
switch onto somebody else and help Jordan with Vic in the paint more than just me on Vic the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you got to credit Coach Des. We had a whole week to prepare. He had us locked in that whole week, just watching film and studying what we're going to do against them. And I thought we executed perfectly on defense. I mean, we held them to under 40 points, and we let up 83 last time. So he just had us dialed in on defense.
Yeah, defense was the story to me. Who else wants to jump in?
I was also say like we
Yeah.
had a different mindset going into the game. Like I feel like the Patriot game, the first game was like a wake up call for a lot of us. Because it really showed us like what we needed to win a state championship because we knew we were gonna play them. And it really just was a change in our mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, David, you and Saul, you guys know you're allowed to talk, right? I mean, both
Yeah.
of them.
Yes. Saul, jump in here. Saul, what were your
Shunky-
thoughts?
jump in,
Why was it so?
Shunky's talk more than y'all. Shunky never speaks words.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Saul, you're
jump
never
in.
quiet.
I'm pretty well. I kind of like the fact, honestly, that we lost the first game because we were able to reevaluate, what we did wrong and learn from it, and then it paid off in the end when we faced them in the finals. So it worked out well.
Yeah, I would just say to go off of what everybody else said too about the defense. I think we closed out better. I also think they're not going to shoot that well regularly, but I think we did do a better job
Mm-hmm.
closing out and finding the shooters and playing the matchups the right way.
I mean,
Yeah.
the defense Saturday was amazing. Again, Sherman's group, that's a great team. And they've scored 100 a couple times this year. They're averaging, 70-something points. And, I think that was our season high of points given up maybe the last 2 years at their place.
Mm.
So when you have a team that has so many offensive weapons, and not just, Vic and Barber and Hopkins, but the Wilcox kid, the Aline kid, they can fill it up. So, the defense, many people just have, reached out about the defense your guys played. And, these guys can tell you, we stress defense over everything.
Yeah. I think, I agree, Coach. And I also agree with David here. I think losing that game, losing convincingly, actually worked to your advantage because I feel like they may have been a little complacent. I feel like they may not have prepared. I mean, you guys were a moving target. You played differently. You're a different team. You've grown as a team, and I think maybe that easy win may have gotten them a little bit complacent. I mean, because they're a great team, as Coach Desmond just said. They beat a lot of teams by a lot of points, but I thought maybe they didn't have a game plan that was could change for the circumstances. You guys came out in a different defense. You had different matchups, and maybe that's one of the reasons. So, well, anyone else have anything? Because I wanted to move to. I talked to Des, I think sometime in January, and you guys were in a funk. You guys were in a funk, like a mid-season funk, and it happens. And you guys were just, you're beating teams that you're much better than by like 5 points, 8 points. And you just weren't showing the kind of quality that you have. What was the turning point? When did you guys were able to figure out what's going on? As Jordan just said, start locking in practice. What happened that changed your attitude and got you guys back on the right track?
Well, after the first Chantilly game, we played bad, and we had got back to the school, and Tyler had kind of yelled at all of us. And I think that was probably the turning point for all of us and starting to lock in, because Tyler was like really, really mad at us, and we were kind of just like chilling. We were like, okay, we won. But then Tyler finally like expressed how he really felt about it, and it kind of was like, oh snap, like this is how he's feeling. We got to start locking in.
Yeah. Tyler, so you're pissed off after the Chantilly game?
Yeah, I was a little emotional. I said some unkind words, but like my main goal with basketball was to just win. I never really cared about like the points or the accolades or any of that. So like to see us be satisfied, with barely beating a Chantilly team. I wasn't happy with it. So I really wanted everyone to know, like, these are my goals. You're either with me or we're gonna fall together.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was that whole week. Tyler started that off and then led into our Centerville game, and that was our first like big blowout, I guess. Like from all the like close games we had, and just from there on, we just kept like moving up. We started locking in more, just like worked harder. We knew what we had to like do to become like what our potential was.
Yeah. Maybe do you think maybe it's hard though when you know you're going to beat teams that are not quite in your class? Isn't it hard though in the long season to stay up the whole time? So wasn't it kind of inevitable you're going to have some downtime when you weren't quite as motivated?
Yeah, it was. It was like Coach Des says before games, sometimes I don't have a big rah-rah speech to get you guys excited. Sometimes it's just a game that we know we're supposed to go in and we're supposed to win. We think we're going to win every game, but sometimes it's one that we're not as motivated for, like a Hayfield or Westfield or Madison game. But that's why teams sometimes they stick around a little bit longer than they should with us during games.
Yeah. How about you, Jordan? When you get to that situation when a team is not playing well, did you ever get the notion that you need to do more, that you had to, because you very much let the game come to you. I mean, you can score a lot of points. I'm sure you can average 30 a game if you chose to, but you're a team player. Did you ever get in your mind, well, maybe I need to just do more, or were you patient with the process?
I thought it was more mental than it was what we were doing out on the court. I think just uh, locking in as like a team during that time was really pivotal. As Tyler said, he gave a great speech, which led into our great Centerville game that we played. I don't think there was a moment where I thought things had to change what we were doing per se, because I thought, I mean, we got there last year from doing the same things, but I think it was more mental, just like dialing in and executing things to a T instead of just like walking through things and being complacent.
Yeah. And David, was it frustrating to you? Because this is probably around the time you were getting hurt, and you really couldn't help. Your only goal was to get yourself healthy, probably. So was that a frustrating time for you?
Yeah, it was. I got hurt in that Chantilly game where Ty got a little emotional, but yeah, it's been tough. Came back for the Madison game and then got hurt in that one too. So these last two games were the main ones that I played in. Wasn't 100% for those either, but made it work. So
Yeah, you had to go out there and play your part. How about you, Saul? You always seem like you're having fun out there on the court. What were your thoughts when the team was going through this kind of sour patch?
Yeah, I think it's just when we all play together. I think when the ball's moving, we're all just having fun, and then I feel like we just end up winning, get a lot of games that way. I think it's hard. I think it was hard for us too, because like a lot of teams this year, like last year, we didn't have like that much respect, so a lot of teams would just play man to man against us, which we like thrive off of. So like this year, we really had to get better at playing against zones and running our zone offenses like better.
Yeah. Well, guys, what about your role on this team? When you're on a really stacked team, like for example, Tyler and James, you would play a much bigger role on like just a solid team. You'd be able to score more. Obviously, David, you'd be the focal point. Brian and Saul, you would be able to do more than just distribute first. You'd probably be called to score a lot. Aiden, again, you'd be more of a role player as you were your senior year. You'd be probably more like your sophomore year. When you're on a team this stacked, your role is different. Did you ever think about what it'd be like on a team that wasn't so stacked where you'd have more offensive responsibility?
I think that it's better to be on a team where everybody has a role and it comes together than to be on one of those teams where they have one guy who can go for 40 and then everybody else just kind of stands around and gets him open. It's not as fun just putting all the workload on one person when we know, like, say a team like when Madison went triangle and two on me and Jordan, and then we had drawn up a play expecting them to run it and ran it. It worked. Every other guys got open. Other people hit shots. And then when I came out, they went triangle and 2 on Tyler and Jordan. And I know Tyler was weirded out by that, like what's going on, but we were able to still get shots up and get points at the basket. So we're just it's a lot more easier to score and to win games when you have a bunch of role players playing together.
Yeah, I'd like to go off of that as well. I think since we have so many pieces, it kind of makes it hard for teams to scout us. Like one night, Brian could be scoring a lot of points and I could be dishing the ball. And then one night I could be on the more of the scoring side than the passing side. And then we got, Jordan, obviously, David, Aiden, and James. We just have, and Tyler, and everybody can just like really just provide for the team. So I think it makes it hard for other teams to like get prepared for us.
No question.
Yeah. Like another big thing with that is this, all of us just like, we just want to win. Like we don't really care about like individual stats too much. Like our goal is state championship. And that's what we did. All we wanted to like care about was just getting that ring.
Yeah. I felt like sometimes,
Julian, there are guys like not on this call, like Atoshi or Jordan Corey, that probably have bigger roles, or Merrick Rolstone, who start other places.
Yeah.
And even this group on here, they've been in and out of the lineups. Their jobs have changed, their roles have changed. It's very hard coaching talent until the talent just decides it's better to be a group instead of an individual. And that was the thing when this team finally got their shit together. It was about team, and it took a while. It took a while. So
did it take a while, or were you just guys just ready for the playoffs to be here? Let's get it on. Was it always going to come together, or you think there was a real question of whether it was going to come together?
When we spoke, I thought there was a real question that it would.
I think it just took a while because when we got to the playoffs, we were kind of like, oh snap, like it's already playoffs. Like we weren't really like, oh, like can playoffs already come so we can just do what our main goal is. So I think it just had to take time.
Yeah.
I think it was a little.
Jordan, were you able to keep your concentration up the whole year, even though, obviously some days could be pretty easy for you out there, but were you able to keep focus on every night?
Yeah, from the beginning of the year, obviously there was one major goal, but just taking it one game at a time and just playing 100% each game. We have to treat every game like the state championship game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it being us not playing the teams that we played during the state finals and state semifinals and quarterfinals. It was a lot like not easier. So most of the games were a lot easier besides say like Madison or Westfield at times, but there's just certain games that you get up for and certain games that you don't. So we weren't necessarily rushing the playoffs to come, but that's where we strive the best, is when there's pressure.
Yeah. That's when the adrenaline starts pumping.
Yeah.
And David, is it feeling much different with O'Connell in the WCAC? I believe you're playing top teams every night. At South Lakes, you're really preparing yourself for a postseason. Coach Desmond's scheduling tough non-conference games against the best teams that'll play you guys. Not many teams will want to play. Sometimes the tough teams don't want to play because they feel like they have nothing to lose, but maybe they might get some kids who might want to transfer back to South Lakes. But anyway, is it harder to keep your concentration at South Lakes than it was at O'Connell?
No, obviously the competition's more hard in the WCAC, but you have to have the same mindset going to every single game, playing like it's a state championship and going out there and giving it your all every night. So yeah.
Yeah. So, well, before we get to the postseason, let's talk a little bit about Coach Desmond. Coach Desmond, he doesn't have as much social media presence as Coach Sherman, but he has a lot. Why don't you guys tell us something we may not know about Coach Desmond?
I will remind Jordan and Saul that you do have another year coming back.
That's right. Yeah, but we all know Coach Desmond's a little crazy. But what are some things we may not know about Coach Desmond?
Coach Des is a real emotional guy, whether he paints that picture on here or not. He went in the locker room after we win. He told us he hates us because he knew if he said "I love you guys," he'd start crying up.
Oh,
And there will be times where he'll call me and be like you're really doing what I ask, or he'll call other guys and let them know that like he's really proud of what they're providing or bringing to the team. And then we'll get to practice, and it's I hate you guys again. So yeah.
sounds like a love-hate relationship.
I would say, like from the outside world, Des can like seem like a pretty like happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Like he's easy to talk to, you know what I mean? But like he's a horrible person in practice. Like there was practices where I was genuinely thinking about quitting. We basically had a practice where like every time someone misstepped, he would run us. And he would just he would be like focus on the details. It was just an excuse to run us pretty much. So he enjoys killing us on a daily basis.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyler. Anyone else want to jump in here and talk trash about Coach Des?
I don't know if this is talking trash, but Des is a very, very funny person. I don't think yeah, I'm just leaving it at that. He's just a very funny person.
You're gonna leave it at that. You're not gonna get Coach Desmond. You're gonna get him fired tonight, huh? So, well, the football players especially. How would you compare Coach Desmond and Coach Hescock? Is that pronounced right? Hescock.
Yeah.
How would you compare Desmond to Hescock?
I would say they're kind of the same a little bit in like some aspects. They both can get loud, but they're kind of also both like calm at sometimes and want you to learn and like be better. But yeah, I mean, I would say they're kind of the same. I mean, they both keep in touch with each other a lot too. So
And
Yeah.
he's our biggest fan, guys. He's our biggest fan, one of them.
Yeah.
I'd say they're pretty similar because like both of them obviously like on and off the like court and field they're like much different people, but like they're both like really like cool people to talk to like outside of the sports, and like both of them just like love and like they're so dedicated to the sport that like it just makes it fun to play for both of them.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, Saul, I know you have something to say here because before you got on, Coach Desmond accused you of not being able to. You're not going to be able to figure out how to get on the Zoom call. He was giving you a hard time. So I know you'll have something to say about Coach Des.
This is my third year with Coach Des, and I think like throughout the years, like I've been like communicating more with him. I think my first year was kind of hard to communicate a little bit. It was like weird sometimes, but I feel like I've gotten like way more like comfortable and stuff like that, like talking to him, and like what Jordan said, like he's a really like funny person to talk to.
Yeah. David, how would you compare Wooten to Coach Des?
Well, I'll say Des is really easy to talk to. I'll just text him, he's just real comfortable to talk to. I mean, there's not a question you can't ask him really.
That's great. Brian, how about you? When point guards like you and Saul, they tend to coaches generally put more pressure on you because you have a lot of responsibility. Do you guys have a good relationship?
Yeah, me and Coach Des have a pretty good relationship. He'll text me after a game and tell me you suck, you had 10 turnovers. and then I'll play a really good game and he'll text me, you're not as good as you think you are, you still suck, you had a turnover. So it's it's pretty nice playing for him because he trusts me with the ball in my hand a lot, even though he'll tell me how bad I am every night after a game, win or lose. I know he still trusts me at the end of the day, trusts me to put people in the right positions and get us to win at the end.
Yeah. I've always told Coach Desmond how dominant his guards are. Say, they gotta do better. They gotta cut down the turnovers. We're shooting too much. But how about you, Jordan? A big prospect like yourself, does Coach Desmond give you the superstar treatment or is he tough on you?
No, not at all. He treats everybody the same. Obviously what Brian said about you played great, but I hate you. Or you had 25 points, you had a turnover, you suck. That's after the games. Just and also what Saul said too about him being really easy to talk to. We both been on the same team for 3 years now. And I think freshman year was like a little bit different. Obviously, we were both freshmen, a little nervous about being on varsity, but just over time, it's our relationship has grown a lot.
Yeah. Well, how about some good words about your assistants, and also maybe some funny words about them? I know Coach has a very attentive staff. They're, I watch them communicate with them. I know Coach Cincinnati, of course, but I know they seem to do a great job over there. Tell us a little bit about the assistant coaches.
I think they're all robbing me blind. I should probably get all their stipends.
I think
Nicole.
we have a pretty dynamic coaching staff. We have Coach Cincy, who handles all of he makes sure we're everywhere is where everybody where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. We have all the right uniforms. We have all the right everything going on with that. And then Coach Jeremy gets all the social media things done and interviews and stuff like that. Coach Stoner, him and Coach Damon handle a pretty big workload with with our scouting reports and letting us know how other teams are going to be. And then we have Coach Burns and Coach Mack, who did a great job this year, bringing us tips and things that they've realized and picked up throughout games and throughout practices that we're not doing. And then my favorite coach, Coach Herb, he wasn't here this year with us, but he's brought something to each of our games and shaped all of us to be the players we are today. And we're glad that we could get it done for him.
Well, that's great. Great. Thanks for mentioning him. Anyone else want to jump in on the assistant coaches?
I mean, I would say Brian didn't mention Damon, but I would say Damon did a good job, like replacing Herb kind of. He sat where Herb sat and helped Des like subbing people kind of and making sure like it was the right sub and like so we would have good lineups in and people would still be able to match up the same ways. And yeah, but Brian kind of said it all for everybody else.
Yeah.
I would like to mention Coach Burns, like during the games when I would come out and I might have like a turnover and Des would like sub me out. He would always like help me like to understand how to see the floor better as a point guard and help me with that. And also I like to mention Coach Stoner as well. After like a bad game or if I had a good game and again like Des just want us to like be better and tell us like we're not that good. He always like try to help people like with their confidence and like tell them that like basically just give them like compliments and stuff like that, like what they did good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he was good cop sometimes, and sometimes he got yelled at for being good cop.
Yeah. I guess the theme for tonight is you're not that good. Get these kids some tough love, Coach.
Yeah, we have a theme. We won't be saying it on the show, but we have a theme.
Yeah. I do want to ask one question, then I want to get to the playoffs. What's been the reaction from the community, and have you heard from some of the old players that came before? Has there been any reach out from ex South Lakes players? I know a lot of them, like Dustin Alingo, was at the game, and many more. I don't want to start naming them because I'm going to forget some. But how about have you heard from the older South Lakes players, and what has that meant to you?
I mean, I don't want to start naming names because then I'll forget somebody.
Right.
There's been a tremendous outreach of support and congratulations. I think I had like 500 text messages by the time we got back to South Lakes on Saturday. And I don't have that many people on my phone. So somebody gave out my number to a bunch of people. And I try to reach out, even if it's something generic as so much as something like thank you. It was very overwhelming. I think it's just a great reflection of these kids doing something that was done for all the ones that came before them. And, from the window birds to the people who I don't know who you are, who are texting me and saying congratulations, but I appreciate it because we tell the kids all the time, you don't know who's watching. And there's a little kid in the stands who wants to be them one day. So for me, at least, with former players and people in the community, and not just South Lakes players and people I've known for 30 something years, I personally do appreciate the support, and I want to say thank you to all those people. If I wasn't able to get back to everyone or not enough to everybody, this group of kids have just embraced and continued what was started a couple years ago, getting to this game, to this game, to this, and so forth. So the wrestling community and the basketball world, thank you.
Yeah. I bet Brian or Soul gave your number away for yelling at them so much during the season. Way to get back at you. Anyone else? There get a lot of texts or reactions from old graduates, or I'm sure Jordan did. But,
Yeah, I got a few from some older players, and obviously a lot from the community. Like, even when we just like got back from the school, like there were some like parents there, and they were congratulating us. And then we went to Glory Days, and I think ever since like the Potomac game, like every time we walked in the Glory Days, they would like applaud us like as loud as they could. So, I mean, just them and like basically everybody in the community has came together and congratulated us.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that, Aiden. Back when I played high school basketball, high school sports was king. I mean, at Robinson, before I played, because our team wasn't that good, so the crowd stopped coming. But when I was a freshman or so, they have 4,000 people on a Tuesday night. But, you know, Robinson's huge stands. High school basketball was everything. We played Wooten and sell out. That was normal. And I remember I interviewed a guy I played against at Lake Braddock named Derek Hensley. His dad was a legendary coach. When they'd go to Pizza Hut after every game, every time they went there, they'd get a standing ovation. That was very normal behavior back when I was growing up. You know, the football basketball team was a big part of the community. And I think that's been lost. But 2 years ago, this is when I first met Coach Desmond. I was at Reds, and I'd come to the game, and I forgot which game it was. And it
was WNL.
It was WNL. So Coach came into the Reds, and he got an ovation, and it reminded me of the old days. I met Coach, and I was like, "Yeah, this is great." He's like, "I got to go home and look at tape for." Coach stayed for like maybe a half hour, went home, looked at tape. But yeah, that's Aiden. That community, Reston still has that. That used to be everywhere. I mean, high school basketball was king in Northern Virginia. And, you know, at the internet, people started going to shopping malls. I guess that's passe now, but it's just a different feeling. I'm glad you guys got a chance to experience that. You deserve it, and you came through.
Can I ask them a question, Julian?
Sure.
Gentlemen, how was school today?
I signed somebody's phone case at school today.
Yeah, I signed a T-shirt.
I signed T-shirt too, but all the teachers like congratulated me. Everyone knew.
Yeah, I got so many like congratulations from like pretty much every teacher. So
yeah.
Is it possible that
Brian, did you go to school?
Yeah, I went to school.
Right.
Is it possible that girl has never given you time of day, all of a sudden was polite to you today and said, "Hey, congratulations"?
You're definitely talking to Brian then.
Oh, no comment. Well, yeah, I mean, the crowds have been great in the postseason. But let's go. We talked about the Madison game, the regional final. You guys not avenged, but they played you pretty tough in the district final. They played you really tough in the last district regular season game. I think you actually went to overtime. Even the first Madison game, they came back and made it interesting after Jordan went up 12-0 on them. But you have an absolutely dominant performance against Madison. Madison was playing really well. You guys are the only team they lost to like the last 6 weeks of the season, I believe. They really were on a roll. But then Potomac, that was a game. I know Coach Desmond was a little bit afraid of that game because he didn't know them very well. That's kind of the unknown. This is a team. They have a lot of athletes. I don't think you guys have played them very much. Tell me about the Potomac game. I know they have great athletes, and I know they have Kenny de Guzman, the guard. That's a good shooter. So that game, I understand, was close in the fourth quarter. If they hit some foul shots, it could have been even closer.
I mean, they got a lot of opportunity. The damn whistle blew 53 times that night. So everyone, both teams had an opportunity to shoot a lot of free throws.
Yeah.
But I'll let the kids take this because talk about getting challenged in a big pressure situation. These kids stepped up.
Yeah.
I think it's everybody on our team, including our coaching staff. I think we all think that one of our guys versus one of another guy we're always going to take our guy. So like they have this big TJ Vita, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And we take Jordan over him in a matchup any day. And then they're close to 1,000-point scorer guard. I think we take me over him any day too. So just seeing that we know our matchup, we match up with guys just as good as anybody else. It makes games a little bit easier to stay in when we think about it like that.
Yeah.
I would say, like, yeah, I agree with that. But like, even just seeing them in warm-ups, like they were pretty scary. Like they had a lot of big dudes. And like, you know, it looked like you knew it was gonna be a tough game. So yeah, but I think we all knew that we were gonna come out fighting and throw punches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, me and Jordan and Saul and James played them me and James sophomore year and Jordan's freshman year and Saul's freshman year. We played them at their place. And we all kind of knew like how they played a little bit, and obviously from the film we watched. But I mean, like Tyler said, I think they were probably taller and bigger than what they had like from that year. And I mean, the dude I had to guard was the strongest dude I've ever had to guard in my life. So yeah, I mean, matchups we knew what we had to do.
Yeah.
They definitely passed the eye test a lot more than we did.
Yeah.
Is it surprising to you guys that Patriot beat them so easily?
Yeah, actually, it is because I'd say that playing against Potomac was a lot more of a struggle game than the state championship game. Potomac was more of a they had a lot more that they could do besides just shoot the ball. Like they had guys getting into the lane, hop, step, finish, getting into the lane, spin move, finish, getting into the lane, pull up, jump shot, step back threes. They were doing it all. So I think I don't understand how I didn't watch that game a lot, but I've seen a little bit of it. But I know that like it just comes down to both teams who's on that night and who's not. So it can happen any night.
I would say familiarity, right? I mean, I think Patriot and Potomac play each other every year. So there's probably some familiarity there where sometimes maybe the team that looks like they're going to have the advantage doesn't, or a team that's really good doesn't have the number of that other team they're playing. I mean, you know, familiarity, it bothers us sometimes and it helps us sometimes. So maybe it's the same thing for the Potomac Patriot matchup.
Yeah. What'd you think, Jordan? You finally have, I mean, you're usually one of the tallest guys on the floor, but you know, Potomac has some size. What was your approach to that game?
I thought we matched up well against them, especially at the guard position. I'm not exactly sure who their fifth man was, but I know that the big guy, number 23, TJ, I'm pretty sure Brian said his name was. The little lefty, number 3, and then Kenny, the point guard. I thought we just matched up well against them, especially with our starting 5, with Aiden on the big and everything.
Yeah. David, did you play against Potomac?
I did not know.
Oh, that must have been tough for you.
Yeah, it was. It got close in the end and stopped watching it, but we won that. So
yeah. Well, you lived to fight another day. So what did you guys think? I know we talked about earlier, you know, getting revenge against Hayfield, but were you guys surprised when you heard the Hayfield won on the road and you'd be playing them on?
No.
You weren't surprised?
No.
Yeah. So yeah, because I really like this Hayfield team. You guys have played them early in the year. They had a tremendous first half against you guys, led by 8 at one point. They really pass the ball well. They don't have a lot of size. They have Owen, but they really don't have a lot of size. So Owen tends to get in foul trouble, and so that when that happens, you know, they have a tough time playing against teams like South Lakes or West Potomac. just because they don't have a lot of big guys. The guy who comes off the bench is pretty good. But Hayfield's another team that had been playing really well the last part of the season. I think they only lost a couple of games. They're on a roll. So going into that game, South Lakes was favored, but that people saw that as going to be a dogfight. Did you guys see it that way? Do you guys feel like we'll play our game? We got these, or the fact that Hayfield was two-time defending champion? Did you guys have butterflies going into that game?
Not really. No. It was normally in games when we're like the games that we're nervous about, it'll be because there's a bunch of guys and we know that Jordan can't block everybody, or me and Saul can't be on the perimeter to guard everybody. So it's just about matchups, honestly. And that game, we felt pretty good in matching up with them. We just knew that we had to close on certain people and that the big guy had to stay off the glass. And then when we handled that pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
I feel like going to that game, it was like kind of like to avenge from like the past 2 years. Like me and Jordan's freshman year, Aiden's James sophomore year. We watched like the senior starting five fall to them, and then our sophomore year we were still young, and then we lost them again, state semifinal. So that was 2 years in a row, state semifinal. I think this year was just like we just had enough losing them in the state semis. We just like came out ready to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that was definitely if we don't do it now, we're not going to do it type situation. And I've talked to Los. He's a great guy, friend of mine. It had to be them. It had to.
Yeah, I think Carlos was, even though he hates to lose, I'm sure he was happy for you because he's, you guys, this was a, great team, and he'd won two. I'm sure he'd love to win three, but after it was over, I'm sure he was happy. How would you guys compare the energy on the floor against Hayfield with a sellout small gym, high school gym like Westfield, to a bigger gym, not a sellout, but a decent crowd down in Richmond? How is the energy? Is the energy the same, or is it more in a high school gym, or is it more on a bigger stage like VCU?
Yeah, y'all were funny because when we were checking in, I'm walking behind them. And as they were walking out on the court, you could see them, whoa. But there was a time where, that made me as a coach nervous about us as we walked to the locker room. But the guys seem to be locked in, and we do a little talk as a group after they do the stupid coaches captains meet thing, and you talk for sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes for a minute. And I remember walking towards where we were going to meet the team, and all these guys were clapping and applauding. They were excited. And personally, I thought that calmness and that different type of energy that they had before the biggest stage was something that they were prepared for, because even though you're not in a giant gym like a VCU, Westfield's not small, South Lake's not small, and when you put people from floor to ceiling, that you feel that on top of you, maybe more in a different way than you do in one of the giant arena types. So, that is my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. Anyone else?
That
yeah, sure.
I think the bigger arena was definitely more fun. I wouldn't say it distracted us too much, besides the fact that when you're on the court, it's a little bit harder to hear everything that's going on. Like, you can go back and watch on film, and I'm screaming at Jordan for like 20 seconds straight, and he just can't hear me down on the other side of the court. So,
yeah.
Other than that, though, it was so much more fun. Like handshakes, lines. They had the lights off during the anthem. It was purple. It was just a really cool environment to be in, and we're really glad we got to play.
Don't you find that ironic, Jordan, that Brian's talking about him screaming at you and you not listening, when I'm pretty sure I spend most of every game screaming at Saul and Brian, and they're definitely not listening? That is just very ironic.
Yeah. Hey, Aiden, how did you feel? You able to have your way? The thing I'd say about Patriot, they're not physically a big team. They're very thin. They don't. Last year they had Jay Randall. They had a little bit more bulk. They're a thin team. You're really able to throw your body around. You seem like you had some fun out there against Patriot.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean,
I think like I can probably do that more than I usually do, but I think I'm more of like a pass first dude, and I don't think Dez likes it all the time. But I mean, I don't really care. We score anyways, so
I'm gonna
I
get the
mean,
rebound if I miss, Coach.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun overall.
Yeah. David, how did you feel? Now you must have been a little bit nervous and a little bit fatigued because when you haven't played a lot, obviously your fitness is not going to be there. And then everyone, when you have nerves, you get tired quick. When you're nervous, the first minute you're winded, and then you get your second wind. So at least I haven't been on the stage like that you guys have been on, but for my district game, that's the way it was. But anyway, David, what about you? You must have been very winded when you against Hayfield and also against Patriot.
Yeah, I was pretty tired in those, and I was also pretty rusty with the ball because I hadn't touched one in like a few weeks. So I mean, my shot was off a little bit, but I can do other things. I can rebound, I can play defense, I can share the ball. So yeah.
Yeah, the thing was you didn't need to do too much. You did what was needed, and the defense. When you put another 6'8" defender out there, it changes everything. It's just that's a huge game changer to any team when you can add another player like that. So yeah, 16 points and 10 rebounds would be nice, but great defense is also a game changer. How about you? How about you, Tyler? You didn't shoot quite as. It's funny. That was the first game I've ever seen you miss a shot. It seemed like every time I've seen you play, you make every shot you took. You made your foul shots, but didn't get a chance to you knock down your 3-pointers. You still had a big effect on the game. But how did you feel out there?
It was weird for me. I had never really played on that big of a stage ever. And, I don't know. I had some nerves going in that game. And then it also like depth perception, just like screwed me up a lot. But I've been shooting in the gym, the South Lakes gym, for many hours, and it's just second nature to shoot shots at South Lakes pretty much. So, like honestly, it was just different. Like, it was just a new experience.
Yeah, South Lake has the hardest rims in Northern Virginia. Everyone knows it. How about you, Saul? I know you're in heaven with a 94-foot court and your kind of speed. So you must have been excited to get out there and do your thing.
Yeah, I kind of like the bigger core. I feel like it's like a lot of room to work with, and yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Jordan, you're a guy that's going to have. You're going to be on big stages like this. This is not going to be too abnormal for you. If you play in the ACC or Big Ten, wherever you decide, you're going to have full houses all the time. So this energy is going to be normal to you. When you're out there, do you realize that, and that's something that makes makes it more fun? That this is lots of games in your future.
Yeah, I definitely thought of that. Just being out there was probably one of the most fun games I've ever played in, honestly. Just having like the crowd and the lights and everything, it was just great. And I'm really looking forward to doing that in years to come.
Yeah. How about that dunk? Now you're not the kind of person that dunks on people a lot. I know you can, but you usually are kind of, lay it up mild. But that dunk was an emphatic point in the game. It may have been the nail in the coffin, maybe. What motivated you to do that?
Warming up. Well, actually, no. Before the game, they told us that we can't dunk in warm-ups, and then warming up in warm-ups, I saw the rims were like really low, so I knew I just had to get one, and then I got that pump fake, and then I saw there was a smaller defender underneath the paint, and I just went up and just like did it.
Yeah. Well, James, you're going to play college football, is that right, James?
Maybe. Not
Maybe.
sure.
Okay. But so you still might play basketball, or it's either football or nothing, or no?
Oh, football or nothing.
Yeah. So you're out there, and this is your last basketball game, organized game. You could probably be like me and play intramurals and adult leagues, and this could be high level games. But this is your last organized game ever. Did you think about that before the game?
Yeah, I was thinking about that because especially I've been playing with here Tyler, Brian, Saul, and Aiden since 7th grade. I'm not gonna be with my friends anymore during the game. So I knew we had to end on a win. But it being the last game, I don't know, it just felt like another game kind of during the moment. But before and after, it felt special. A lot different.
Yeah. Brian, did you want to jump in here? No, you're good.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you.
The
Yeah. Thanks, James. Yeah.
It was a little bit it was a little bit of an emotional time because guys like David and Chris Rochester, as well as his little brother, Aiden, Tyler, Jordan, Saul, James, we've all played together for a while. Like I remember me and Aiden became friends because we played on the same team in like third grade. We were playing up. And it's just kind of emotional knowing that this is the last time you'll step on the court with these guys. And it's bittersweet because yeah, we got the win. It would have been much worse if we lost, but I'm glad we got the win, and I'm just happy that I got a chance to do it with these guys.
Were you thinking before the game, Brian, that was it on your mind that you haven't gotten as much interest from colleges as you deserve in football and basketball? Was it on your mind, like, I'm going to show these guys something today?
Not really. I know that if it's meant to be, it'll come. I'm not too stressed out about the whole not getting any basketball offers yet thing, because I'm looking pretty good for football right now. I got into where I'd like to go. So if anything better comes, then I'll take that. But I'm pretty happy where I'm at.
That's one good thing about playing basketball on a team with Jordan Scott is you're going to have college scouts in the stands looking at you. So I'm sure you impressed some people. Mike, did the game, Coach Desmond, did the game go to plan? I mean, obviously you could not have played a better game, and you did it on the biggest stage, but tactically, did it go to plan?
Yeah, I mean, look, we had a week to prepare, and give us that much time. We're usually really dialed in on what the other team's strengths are, and we knew Patriot, right? We knew those kids. We know how good of a coach Sherman is, and what they like to do. So we changed some matchups. We helped some different places that maybe the first time we didn't help. We refined some of our pressure schemes or our take away the next pass things, and we just kind of did a great job. And the kids, because I didn't do anything. I was standing on the sideline in a t-shirt. They executed. They executed not just on the defensive end. Offensively, we got pretty much what we thought we were going to get most possessions. And even the possession or two where we had a silly turnover or, we were rushed into a turnover, we had the next rotation of a person moving to an open area. We just missed them because we panicked with the ball. But I thought the kids, top to bottom, were able to take what we had preached all week and put it together almost flawlessly in the game.
Yeah, for sure. It's great look from the stands. Anyone else? Any surprises out there, or did from your point of view, it went exactly with what Coach had practiced with you guys all week?
I think we just had like a really good week of practice and really good week of like film and stuff. So I don't think it was really surprised. I think we were all ready, and we kind of knew we would be able to do it because of how well practice went.
Yeah. So, well, look, guys, it was a wonderful win. Again, you don't get many chances in life to play for championships, but state championships is a really rare thing. So, very happy for you guys. I thought we would talk a little bit, and maybe towards closing. What your plan is for the next year, things that you care to share, to tell us all, and for the underclassmen, maybe your goals for next high school season and beyond. So why don't we go in the same order we started? Jordan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure on where I want to go to college yet, but obviously for next year at South Lakes, me and Saul will be returning here, and we're looking to win as many championships as possible. I mean, I don't think the goal is going to change from this year to next year.
Yeah, and a couple more targets on your back, but you'll be able to handle that when those problems come. Coach Des, how about you? What does this win mean to you, being a state champion, and what do you see for your future?
It means I can sleep easy at times. Selfishly, it's what else as a coach, and I think winning is a secondary thing. I think it's hopefully having a positive impact on your kids and helping them get to their next steps, whatever those are. But selfishly, I mean, there's a lot of people for a long time that maybe didn't say so many nice things about me or didn't think it was possible because I'm not a school teacher or whatever. So career-wise, I mean, I'm at peace. I have a ring. There's a lot more I could say to that, but I have a ring.
Yeah. They can't take that away from you, Coach.
No.
Yeah. How about you, James? Congratulations on, getting ready to graduate. And these are exciting times for a senior. And now that you have a state championship in your belt, you got prom coming up. And I don't know if you play baseball or soccer or anything, but these are really special moments for a senior. What are your plans for the future?
So I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to college yet. We'll see. I'm still debating my options right now. But that wins for my future. It's nice to know all end of my high school career on a win and winning a state championship. I guess not a lot of people can do that, so that's really cool. Yeah,
that's for sure. Not that many. I guess 12 and 50, I guess 16 or so in division. Well, there's seniors though, so in your career, I guess maybe 10 or 8. How about you, David? I know you're going to Brown, but what do you plan on majoring in, and what are some of your goals at Brown?
Probably going to do something business related up there or finance. It's cool because this off season, I'm not doing AAU, so I can train and get my body right for the first time. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Who are you playing for at Brown? I don't know the coach.
Coach Mike Martin.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And your brother, how is he doing? I know he's been hurt too. Is he, what kind of prospect do you think he is? You think he can step up next year and give us give some big minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a shooter. He can shoot it from NBA range, so he's pretty fun to watch.
Oh, great. And he's a sophomore.
Yeah, he's a sophomore.
Oh, okay. He's got plenty of time. Well, hopefully you guys can train together and get healthy together this summer, go to the beach and run on the beach. So how about you, Tyler? What are some of your plans for the future?
So I got into a couple schools just for normal college, but I'm definitely still keeping basketball open. I'm still looking for a home, so
yeah. I definitely think, players like you and Brian who want to play, wherever you go, you're going to make the team. I think basketball's in a bad place because there's that one more year of COVID left, I think, right? And I think it's over I think that last year is over after this year. Isn't that right, Coach Des?
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's a crime that these two seniors are sitting here. Yeah. And again, that could be a whole nother podcast, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, but my point was that no matter where they go, they're gonna make a roster. They're gonna be out there fighting for, when you can win and put the ball in the bucket and do other things. Every team needs that. How about you, Brian? I know that you're still waiting on some things, but what are some of the things you want to get into in your future?
I definitely want to keep playing as long as I can. It does suck not having anything for basketball yet. And knowing that a bunch of the guys that I used to guard or play against are up playing D2 or low D1 right now. And it hurts a little bit because it's I used to play against these guys and they couldn't do anything against me. So it sucks. But I know that I have football doors still open, basketball. It's not closed, but I'm just waiting to see what I can get.
Hey, Brian, if you got a football offer, would you take it?
I have a few right now.
You prefer basketball? You prefer basketball?
Not that I prefer it, but I'll take either. It's either, honestly, but I just want to see which one can get me the furthest.
Yeah. So just a story you were talking about, some friends are playing Division I, Division II, and Desmond, you can't laugh at the story, but I played at Robinson and I averaged 4 points a game. I was a 6th man my senior year. I played a lot, but I was only 5'4" my senior year, and I grew to 5'10" in college. So I love the game, as you guys could probably tell all the time I spent on it. But I played on the JV team at UVA finally. And then my senior year, I was so close to getting moved up to varsity. They had 2 kids got kicked off the team, unfortunately for drugs, and they almost moved me up. So here I was, a 4 points a game scorer, but I love the game and I worked hard. And I was a good player, but I just, some people grow at a different rate than other people. But if you really want it, good things can happen if you're talented. I was nowhere near as talented as you are, Brian or Tyler, but I was a pretty good player. How about you, Saul? I'm glad we have another year. You're probably going to have more responsibility next year. I know Coach Desmond loves hearing me say that. But what are some of your plans for next year and beyond?
Yeah, I think we have like the same goal next year, just to win another state championship. And I don't think we're gonna get anything short of that. I think that's our goal.
Do you want to play basketball in college if things work out?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to go Division I in basketball. I'm still seeing what's happening. Play AU this summer and see if I can get any offers.
If you had one thing you could improve about your game, what would it be?
Probably just being more consistent with just everything in general. Because I feel like every game I bring like a little bit of something different. But I feel like just completing my game and just being more of a consistent same player every game, I feel like that would be better.
I think you're in a good position because you've won a state championship now. So, you have that, that monkey's off your back. So it seems like this is a really good time to really go for it and just try to be the best player you can and help carry South Lakes to another title. What about you, Aiden? I've really enjoyed watching you play. I remember I told Coach Desmond as a sophomore, you were my favorite player in the region. The first time I ever saw you play is, and you'll remember this game, you guys played Madison over Madison. And if you guys, as good as you guys played on Saturday, you guys played as good as that night against Madison. You guys beat Madison by 40 points. You jumped up on them by 20 points in like the first 4 minutes. I don't know what was going on with you guys that night, but you were on fire. You were throwing outlet passes but you've had this great career. You won, I guess, 3 regions and a state. And then football is something that you took up late. And then here you are playing Division I football. So, what do you think about, are you excited about the opportunity of football? Is it hurt to leave basketball at all? And what are some of your goals with football?
Yeah, I mean, I caught football my sophomore year. I started. I mean, I've just been like blessed to be able to like play at the next level. I mean, I'm going to Duquesne, obviously, but I mean, I love Duquesne and it's great. I'll probably still end up playing like intramurals there because they do have a lot of people that played basketball in high school on their team.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably still hoop in the off season and stuff like that. But I mean, my main goal there is just to keep winning championships.
Yeah. It's funny about intramurals. People laugh about intramurals, but I went to UVA and everybody has their squad. Like the football team, they had some tremendous basketball players. They had Herman Moore, who played in the NFL, was a great player in NFL, but he was an all-state basketball player from George Washington, Danville. The football players had a great team. The law school had a great team because they had all those Division I players who were now in law school. So we had all these showdowns in intramural. So people, intramural is a lot of fun. My son played soccer at Yorktown, and we had huge matchups against South Lakes. But he just has so much fun playing against those South Lakes guys at UVA. It's great to have those matchups. So intramurals is a lot of fun. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure, James, if you don't play football, you'll be out there playing pickup every day and intramurals as well. Well, look, guys, I did want to, give yourselves a chance here. Anyone have any final thoughts, closing thoughts, people you want to thank, or anything else you want to say, scores you want to settle? I give you guys can have the last word.
Fellas, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just thanks to everyone that supported us throughout the season.
Did Michael Desmond just thank us?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Michael, don't cry on us. Don't cry on my Zoom.
No.
Anyone else have any?
I want to say thank you to all you guys on this call, along with the rest of our team and coaching staff and the whole South Lakes community. Just everybody was so supportive this year of us and what we were trying to accomplish. And I think we all greatly appreciated it.
Yeah, that's I mean, I'm glad you said that. Aiden mentioned it earlier. South Lakes community is underrated. You guys are lucky to have the support of Reston. It's a very special thing. So, Jordan, you're lit up. Does someone want to? Any final
No, I
thoughts?
didn't have anything.
Okay.
No, I think Brian summed it up pretty well.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, look. So I look forward to keeping up with you guys who end up playing college sports, or I follow you on Instagram. So don't party too hard at the fraternity parties if you decide to post that stuff.
Tyler?
But Saul and Jordan, I'm looking forward to you guys next year. It's, I think Coach Carlos had as much fun this year as he had last year. Even though he didn't win it, he had to reformulate a team, and that's for a coach. That's fun, and there's going to be no pressure on you guys. There's going to be less pressure on you guys next year now that you won one, and I think it's going to be really fun. I saw some guys on the bench this year that I know can play that should get some chance, and I'm sure you have some JV guys that'll move up and surprise you. And the way things go now, I'm sure Mike's out there recruiting actively on the transfer portal.
Stop it.
So, but anyway, look, I really appreciate you coming on and telling your stories. This has been great. And, feel free to keep in touch with me. You can always, message me on Instagram. Make sure you send me pictures of your college, your intramurals, or if you're Jordan Scott, maybe your NBA, your NBA dunks in traffic. So I really appreciate you guys, all the joy you give to your fans.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been great, guys. Great to meet you guys.
Thanks, Julian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take care.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, you too.